So, I've recently done a video on 1984 and what lessons we can take from that about life. Somebody commented in the comment section that I should read Brave New World. And I did. And I'll be honest, I was not too into this. I didn't really like it as a work of fiction that you just kind of sit down and enjoy to read, you know? It was really hard to connect to it. It didn't grab me emotionally. The characters were quite distant and the plot was more like an idea delivery system, if you see what I mean, rather than a story. Somebody in another review put it in the comments perfectly that you should think of it more like an essay rather than a story. So reading this book felt very much like work, not because it's hard to understand, but just because I couldn't care about the people in it. And it might be the fault of the whole premise, like from the very get-go, you get introduced to this world, which, by the way, at first this book was compelling, right? It's very horrifying the way the first chapter goes and all the processes they talk about making humans in the future. And maybe because of that, because of the fact that humans are apparently made in test tubes without love and everything is controlled every few meters and so on, I felt like I couldn't relate to these people because they're almost like man-made, right? I like stories that make you feel something, that make you connect to the people. And here, the only thing I felt was a little bit of a curiosity, just to find out, where does this lead from this compelling beginning? Where does this story go? So I kept going. Still, that reaction taught me something. It forced me to ask, why do people love this book, seemingly? Or why do people write these types of books, these kind of future dystopia books? And that is probably the real question of this video. What does that love for reading and writing these kind of books say about us? So the book that this always gets compared to is obviously 1984. And like I said, it was on that particular video that somebody commented that I should read this book. And it makes some kind of sense. Both of these books warn us about losing freedom. That's the main theme. But the way it happens couldn't be more different. And I guess it just speaks about the different life experiences and thought patterns of these two authors. Orwell, he feared pain, surveillance, and control through fear. Huxley, he feared comfort. He feared that we would be so entertained, so satisfied, that we wouldn't even care about freedom. One world, 1984, controls you through force, and the other one controls you through pleasure. Instant gratification of social media. So entertainment is a big theme of this book. Just whenever you're not working, you're entertaining yourself. And we've got it everywhere, right? How many subscriptions can you name that we have available to us? Watching movies, we have games, and all of those things that just have the power, if we let them, to completely control our lives and forget about the real world. Another thing is drug use. So a drug called Soma is absolutely everywhere in the book. Whenever you feel any hint of discomfort, you go straight to that drug, the people in the book. Yeah, we could kind of compare that in our own world as well. Well, firstly, it could be argued that addiction to smartphones is a drug in itself, but actual drugs are very, very easy to get, at least in the UK, where it's supposedly illegal. But if you go to some places, all you can smell is certain drugs. So yeah, when it comes to this book, people say the author predicted the future. And in a way, yes, I agree, he did. Now, just because the book predicts something doesn't mean it hits you. I kept reading, just waiting to care, even a little bit. Waiting for something to break through. Unfortunately, not. The characters just felt like tools. And towards the end of the book, the last couple of chapters where everything gets explained, the characters were just basically, like I said, tools, exposition tools to tell you the whole thing. It was like being lectured with a sci-fi backdrop. But at the end of the day, if you take it seriously, right, this book is not about story. It's more of a warning. It's more of an essay, like I said before. It's philosophy, not emotion. So if you go into it that way, you may find it more enjoyable. If you look around, you start to see it, especially if you live in bigger cities and you take the public transport with everyone glued to their phones. You really do start to see it. So this book is not here to entertain us, at least not me. It's here to warn us. It's a warning essay. That got me thinking. Every dystopia reflects a fear, right? Every book that's written is a reflection of something on the writer's mind. In this case, it was fear. 1984 is a fear of oppression. Brave New World is about the fear of losing meaning. And if that's what Huxley was afraid of, then what does that say about what he values? What do we value? We value purpose, we value love, we value our freedom. And I think we write dystopias to protect those things. So here's the big question. Are we living in the Brave New World? Sort of, but not really. We're not drugged into happiness. The reality is that we're exhausted. We're not numbed by comfort. We're just burnt out. We're not entertained into submission. We're actually just desperate to escape. This isn't a world of too much pleasure, at least not for me. This is a world of too much pressure. So maybe I didn't enjoy the book, but I do fear the world that it describes. So I get why it resonates. It's quite a universal fear. People are scared of becoming hollow. And when you look at it all like that, Huxley's warning still matters. Even if I didn't like the book, I respect what it's trying to say. There was one line, well, there's a few lines, but this one really kind of resonated with me. You have to care about something for something to become a tragedy. That line resonated because honestly it's true. And I think that's why people still read this book, probably nowadays more than ever. I think initially when it came out to quite bland reviews. People care about what it warns us that we might lose. And that fear is a kind of love. I think I agree with John, when character in this book, when I'll say I don't want endless pleasure, but I also don't want a world where it's just about surviving, which is kind of what it's starting to feel like. I want meaning, I want stillness, I want time to think, people to love, work that feels like it matters, a world that lets you feel things, not just escape them. So yeah, this book wasn't for me, and that's absolutely okay. Not every book has to be. I think sometimes we need to read things that challenge us mentally, or just give us new ideas, even if it's something we disagree with. It's absolutely not good to only read things that you agree with, because then you'll be in your own echo chamber. It's good to expand your horizons. But yeah, anyway, this book did do something important. It made me ask questions I wasn't really asking before. Like, why are we even writing this stuff? It made me examine what I'm afraid of. It shows me what other people are afraid of. And in doing that, it helped me understand what I care about, what makes me human, what makes all of us human. So yeah, I'm glad I read Brave New World, in a way. I guess it started kind of negative, but no, I'm glad I've read it. Thank you for the suggestion. I welcome more suggestions for books. If you have it, put it in the comments below. Always do that. Because, you know, sometimes the books that leave us cold, they shine a light on what keeps us warm. I want to know, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts about this book if you read it. Did it resonate with you, or were you left wondering like I was? Just drop me a comment in the section below. Thank you for watching. If you want more videos like this, you can check out the playlist where I've got about 5 videos now talking about lessons from classic literature. The link is in the description below. Please leave a like, it means a lot. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, or hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. And if you want to read Brave New World for yourself, and then I will leave a link in the description for that book as well. If you haven't checked out my video where I talked about 1984 yet, then probably that's the one you should check out next. It will be in the link at the top, and I will see you there.